Hey Space Watchers and good morning. It is the last day of the 60th Munich Security Conference. The last days here were very intense in conversations about the hot topics of the international crises. One topic that came up again and again was information, data, trustworthiness and data security. So I'm very happy today to talk with Declan Ganley, the CEO of Rivada Space Networks here in Munich, about data security or secure data for Europe and independent space communications. Declan, thank you for joining me here.
Great to be back on Space Cafe Radio.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very well. It's been a busy weekend so far.
For all of us.
Yeah.
Can you share your thoughts about the topics that I just mentioned?
Yes, certainly. Well, we are seeing with what's going on in the world, with Ukraine, with the continued risks and concerns with respect to Taiwan and in other parts of the world, that data security, data sovereignty has become very high on the agenda for governments and for enterprises. Having secure communications, secure and almost unhackable communications has become of paramount importance. I suppose some people would argue historically it always has been. The means and methods of compromising data security, information security have become ever more sophisticated, and to be able to build data armor now, we have to think not just about encryption, but also about how to physically separate and create networks that offer more security, data sovereignty, data residency, so that we know where the data is all the time and that it remains sovereign in, for example, Europe's case, in Europe.
So but that means in your case, we put the data into space or we transport them via space and
not
through physical boundaries on the world.
Yes, but not just space, onto the Outernet. And that's not a marketing term per se. It is real insofar as that the Outernet, the idea of the Outernet is to create a global, ultra-fast, ultra-secure communications network that does not have to touch the internet unless it wants to.
Okay.
In Rivada's case, what we are deploying is 600 routers in space. And each of those routers has a multiple laser connections on them, which mesh them with adjacent satellites. Rivada's Outernet does not use any ground relay stations, so everything stays in space, to your point. Instead of using fiber optic cables, we're using laser links, and we can go from one point, any point on the surface of the planet, to any other point of the surface of the planet without having to touch ground infrastructure, and using extremely efficient routing methods. That we can go over the poles, we can go any which way because we have polar orbits, and that gives a level of redundancy, a level of security, and a level of speed, ultra-low latency that hasn't been seen before.
Okay. Can you give us an update? I mean, the last years, we have to say, were a roller coaster, emotionally and I think for all of us. So would you give us an update about the status of the Outernet, so about satellites, about the launchers, anything? So what you would like to share?
It wasn't a roller coaster for me. It was more of a high-speed train insofar as we were very determined in terms of the direction that we were going, and that's the direction we took, and we kept going. And the history of this project is very interesting. Anybody can look up the articles in the Washington Post or the Financial Times or many other places in terms of the battles that we had with the Chinese and everything else. But we were able to have a successful M1 waiver from the ITU, first one ever to be granted by the ITU. That happened last June. That was ratified at the World Radio Congress in December in Dubai, which was a very, very significant moment for us. We were able to bring in new investors, including a very large sovereign wealth fund, that we will not be identifying, but we were very pleased about that. We were able to go on contract with the leading launch provider in the world, and with a satellite provider who has really mastered the art of mass manufacturing. The first generation, first batch, if you will, first 300 satellites being manufactured for us by Terran Orbital.
Yep.
And we'll see where we go from there. We're putting up 600 is the plan. So in 24 orbital planes in 89-degree orbits, and we've added very extensively to the team, to the depth of the bench at Rivada. We've got a very large team here now in Munich, in Berlin. We've got people in the UK, we've got people in the US, and other countries across Europe as well. So this has become quite the project. And of course, as you know, we have the #1 Ka-band slot, priority slot in the world, which is something I'm very pleased that we have.
I can imagine. So it's all about frequency at the end of the day.
It's a differentiator. It is a
Absolutely.
differentiator.
So, what are the next milestones for you and for Rivada Space Network?
Get it done, execute, and that's what we're doing. And it's intense. It's 7 days a week. It's not much sleep, but that's what we signed up for. And loving every moment. Loving every moment of it. If I could speak properly, loving every moment of it. Talking about not having sleep.
And we do this interview on a Sunday morning here. That gives you an impression about the work.
Yes. It's now after 7:30, so there you go. It's high time we were up.
Great. Declan, thank you very much for your time, and good luck for Rivada Space Network and the wonderful project.
Thank you very much.
With that, Space Watch out here from Munich. Bye.